somewhere deep
jauh
inside,
di dalam hati,
you know what kind of
kamu tahu
person
tipe
you
orang
were
seperti
designed
apa
to
yang
be.
dirancang untuk kamu menjadi.
If you
Jika
want to
kamu ingin
produce great
menghasilkan biji pohon ek yang hebat,
acorns, think like an
berpikirlah seperti
oak,
pohon ek,
not like an
bukan
acorn.
seperti biji pohon ek.
Think like the person you
Berpikirlah
intend
seperti
to
orang yang
become.
kamu inginkan menjadi.
Like the Christian question, what would Jesus do?
Seperti dalam
Ask
pertanyaan
yourself,
Kristen,
how would
apa
the
yang
person
akan
I'd like to
dilakukan
be
Yesus? Ya,
do
kamu
the
ada dirimu.
things I'm
Bagaimana
about to
orang
do?
yang aku inginkan?
The acorn has three parts.
Lakukan hal
It's got
yang
a stem,
aku lakukan,
a cap,
di pohon ek,
and a
ini
seed.
3 bagian.
And the stem represents
Yang
its
memiliki
connection to the
tangkai
past.
tutup dan
All the
biji.
acorns, all the oaks that have ever existed in its line
Dan tangkai
before
mewakili
are
hubungannya dengan
encoded
masa
in
lalu.
that
Semua
transfer
biji
through
pohon
that
ek
stem,
semuanya,
the
semua
legacy
pohon ek.
into this acorn. The cap holds
Dan
onto
ada
the
dalam
seed
garis
until the seed's
keturunan
ready to grow on
di
its
dalamnya.
own. So the cap
Transfer melalui
represents your
tangkai
coaches,
itu,
your
barisan
mentors,
ini ada dalam
your
biji
role
pohon ek
models, your
ini.
guides, your parents, your
Tutupnya
friends, your
menahan
teachers.
biji, sampai biji tersebut
And when you're
siap
ready to
tumbuh
grow on
sendiri.
your own, the seed of that
Jadi
acorn
tutupnya
holds
mewakili
not only
pelatihmu,
your potential,
menontonmu,
but the
panutanmu,
potential of every
bimbingmu, orang
future
tuamu, temanmu,
generation
gurumu.
of acorns that will spring from that
Dan
line.
ketika kamu siap
So let
untuk
me ask a
tumbuh sendiri,
question.
biji dari pohon
What kind
ek
of
tersebut
seed
menyimpan bukan
is
hanya
in you?
potensimu, tapi juga potensi setiap generasi biji pohon ek berikutnya.
See, I
Akan
believe
tumbuh
part
dari
of our
garis itu.
responsibility in
Jadi
life
izinkan aku bertanya
is to
padamu,
find out who we are, to discover ourselves. First off, we need to respect our nature. We need to realize we are part of a continuing chain that carries a legacy and a responsibility. And if that's the case, then we need to recognize that we were not biological coincidences. We were I believe there's a creator, and I believe you were intentionally created for a myriad of purposes. There are many things we can do with our lives, and I think it's our job to find out what those things are and to do them as well as we possibly can, so that we're passing along the right imprint for the next generation. And that's just simply my life philosophy. That's the way I look at it. So first we need to respect our nature. Second, we need to know our nature. Take Aristotle's advice, know thyself. But know things about yourself that most people don't discover. For example, know how you're smart, not just how smart you are in comparison to others. In what ways are you smart? Know what you care about. What are the values that motivate your choices? Know what your personal velocity is, the intensity and drive with which you naturally operate. Know the background imprint, positive, neutral, or negative, that you carry with you and what effect it's had on you. Know your behavioral style, how you come across to other people. Know the patterns in your choices so that you're continually learning more and more about what it's like to be you, so you can do an even better job of it. And then we need to apply our nature. We need to nurture our nature by expressing ourselves in the world. See, I never expected to be anything but ordinary. I was raised to be nice and ordinary. I expected I would grow up to be, my dad worked for the phone company. I figured I'd go to work for the phone company, maybe work in an office. I figured I'd live, I'd work till 65. I'd have 1.34 kids. I'd retire at 65, and then I'd die at the statistical average age for my gene pool. That's what I expected. Until one day in 1972, on the radio in the next room to mine, I heard a voice that changed everything. I was working for the Little Rock Housing Authority, Little Rock, Arkansas, urban renewal agency. I was a government clerk making $525 a month. I weighed 200 pounds. This is 148. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I'd never set a goal in my life. I didn't have a college degree and no money in the bank. I was newly married with a new baby at home, and I didn't expect much from life. And in the next room, I heard the voice of Earl Nightingale, known at the time as the Dean of Personal Motivation. He was on 900 radio stations around the world. What he said that day will forever resonate with me. He said, if you will spend 1 extra hour each day studying your chosen field, you'll be a national expert in that field in 5 years or less. That hit me like a tornado. It rearranged everything in my life. I started doing the math. An hour extra a day, so let's say 5
Kemudian
days
aku
a week,
akan
50
meninggal
weeks a
pada
year, that's
usia rata-rata
1,250 hours
untuk
over
kelompok
5 years.
genetikku.
If I spent, me, just ordinary me,
Hingga suatu hari
1,250 hours
di
studying
tahun
one subject,
1972 di radio
wow,
di
yeah,
kamarku
I could
sebelah,
actually be a national expert. What do I
aku
want to be
mendengar
an
suara
expert at?
mengubah
Well, it's not urban renewal.
segalanya. Aku bekerja di
And then it
otoritas
occurred to me a few weeks later, I want to do what the guy on the radio is doing. But I had no idea what that
agen
was.
pembaruan perkotaan.
I just knew it felt right to get into the field of human development.
Aku
I
adalah
thought, let's see,
pegawai
an hour
pemerintah
a
dengan
day.
gaji
I'm a government clerk. I've got 8 hours a
US
day.
dollar sebulan. Berarti 200
I could
pon,
do this by
sekarang
Thursday.
148. Aku merokok
And then I
untuk
started thinking
beberapa
about
hari.
what he had said, and I took him
Aku belum pernah
seriously. An
menetap.
hour a day. I focused. Well,
Menetapkan
I
tujuan
thought I
dalam
was
hidupku.
kind of
Aku
behind
tidak
the game,
memiliki
so I
gelar
needed 2
perguruan
hours and
tinggi
3
dan
and
tidak
4
punya
and
uang
5.
di bank.
So I overcompensated, and I became
baru menikah
fanatical
dengan
about the
bayi
field of human
baru di
development.
rumah.
And in that 5-year period, I went from being a
Aku tidak
government clerk with very
mengharapkan
little
banyak dari
aspiration
hidup.
to being a full-time speaker and trainer. In 2 years, that was 1972. In 1974, I started buying Earl Nightingale's training materials
Dan
and
di ruangan
selling them to
sebelah aku mendengar
businesses.
suara Earl
By
Nightingale yang
1984,
dikenal saat itu
his
adalah
company
rekan
was
motivasi
selling
pribadi.
my training materials
Dia ada di
worldwide.
900
They
stasiun
sold
di
$3.5
radio
million
seluruh
worth
dunia.
of one of my first audio albums in the first 2 years it was out. I was blown away. His formula works, and I've seen it work for hundreds and even thousands of people in the many, many years since that time that I've been sharing that message. Think about that. If you were to focus you here, TED audience, if you were to focus a half an hour a day, extra, just beyond the TED Talk that you always watch, right? Every day. Okay, beyond that, if you were to focus half an hour of study on one field of endeavor for 5 consecutive years,
Pada tahun 1984,
you not only
perusahaannya
transform you
menjual
transform the
materi
world around you.
latihanku ke seluruh
And we
dunia.
collectively would transform the world as we know it today.
Aku telah melihatnya berhasil
You and
pada
I
ratusan dan
were
bahkan ribuan
born
orang.
with the gift to make this a better place. Even if we didn't improve, we could make the world better right now. We could encourage people, compliment people. We could solve problems. We could pick up
Jadi,
trash. We
kamu
could
bisa
fix things.
kan?
We could
Kamu
bring new
biasa kamu
ideas.
nonton kan?
But
Setiap
as
hari,
you
baiklah di
grow,
luar
you
itu,
become a bigger
kamu
source
meluangkan
for the rest of life to
setengah
express
jam
itself
setiap hari
through
untuk
you.
belajar satu bidang.
You were put here for a reason.
Cuma 5 tahun akan betul-betul
It's
kamu tidak
contained in
hanya
that
akan mengubah
acorn.
dirimu, tapi juga
So
dunia sekitarmu.
nurture your nature.
Kita
Figure
semua
out,
bersama-sama
first
akan
off, I am valuable. Accept that. I want to know who I am, and I want to know how I operate, and how can I understand me better. And then I want to nurture that nature. I want to apply myself in the world and put myself to work in such ways that the rest of the world says, well, that's cool. If he or she can do it, I could probably do it. I wonder how they did it. And then we start spreading
Tapi
that,
seiring
and the ripple
pertumbuhanmu,
goes
kamu menjadi sumber yang
worldwide.
lebih besar bagi
So
kehidupan.
ask yourself every day,
Mengekspresikan dirinya
how would
melalui
the
dirimu.
person I'd like to be
Kamu ditempatkan di
do
sini
the things
untuk satu
I'm allowed
alasan.
to do?
Itu terkandung dalam biji pohon ek itu. Jadi biarlah kita alamnya seperti tahu dengan cara-cara membuat dunia berkata wah keren. Jika dia bisa melakukannya, mungkin aku juga bisa melakukannya. Bagaimana orang yang aku inginkan menjadi. Oke, terima kasih.